What is up, guys? We have a special podcast tonight. We're going all the way down to Texas to talk to Max from the Daily Toreador, who writes for Texas Tech University, and is going to let us know what's going on in the great state of Texas.
It's Elliott! It's picked off! It's picked off! It's Tracy Porter!
All right, all the way from Texas, we have Max with the Daily Toreador. Max, would you like to just say hi?
Hello.
Max, it has to be absolutely crazy right now down there in Lubbock. What's the atmosphere like for the basketball team?
Oh, it's pretty crazy, honestly. Like, anytime I get on social media, it's just filled with Tech basketball stuff and articles. Like, usually Tech basketball is like the local newspapers and stations will write about them, but it's crazy to see us getting the national attention, like by March Madness and the NCAA tweeting about them and stuff. It's really cool.
Now, do you guys? I know, of course, you're down there in Texas. You think this is a done deal. You got this wrapped up, but in a professional setting, how do you guys feel like you match up against Michigan State?
I was actually talking to my dad about this. At first, I was like, I wanted to play Duke, like, because they've had a shaky tournament run. But then I thought about it, and Michigan State's probably the better matchup for us because they just, for like two reasons, pretty much. Number one, we'll have the best player on the court with Jarrett Culver, because I know Michigan has their centers pretty good, but Jarrett Culver's, last time I checked, he's a top 5 draft pick. And I don't know, I feel like Duke would have shut our defense is good, but Duke is just too talented to play us. Like, Zion would have destroyed us, so I'm glad we're playing Michigan State, honestly.
I think defensively you guys will be fine, but you're going to have to come out and play a lot better than you guys did against regular Michigan. I mean, I watched that game. I was upset because we lost, but you have to admit that was a real bad game. It wasn't just a defensive game. It was a bad shooting game on both sides.
Yeah, that's typically how Tech runs. It's kind of frustrating. Our defense usually holds the other team down their average points per game, but our offense is like really shaky. Like, at some points y'all probably seen over the tournament run, we'll like go minutes without scoring, but then like when we get hot, we get hot. So hopefully we could just stay hot the whole game, the rest of the tournament.
Well, you guys have to be happy with Chris Beard. He's doing a heck of a job as a coach. You guys went 30-6 this year, 14-4 in your division. And you were the number one defense. He's only allowed 59 points a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard, but it was just about an hour ago. He was named the AP Coach of the Year. So
that's awesome.
About that too.
Yeah, that's all. I'm excited for Texas Tech. I'm excited to see how their defense plays against Michigan State because they have about 4 players who are averaging over 10 points a game, and you have Winston, who's been huge this year. He's averaging 18.9 points a game. I'm rooting for Texas Tech just because they knocked out Michigan. We're rooting for Michigan over here, but I'm really excited to see how they play against Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm excited too, honestly. Hopefully we'll have another Jarrett Culver breakout game. He's been averaging better numbers than he was in the regular season on the tournament run, so
now,
hopefully he keeps that up.
Wasn't he just named the AP All-American?
Oh, yeah. I think they put him on the second team, though.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it flash up on the screen yesterday. We were actually watching the Texas Tech baseball game yesterday, and we saw you guys had a meltdown late.
Yeah, that baseball game was sad yesterday.
Well, your baseball team is doing really well, actually. You have a lot of players whose batting averages are like skyrocketing in the 300s. Yeah,
that's like what I primarily cover is baseball, but basketball is just my favorite sport, so I always keep up with that too. But our baseball team's been pretty good. If our pitching staff can get it together, we'll be a solid team.
Yeah, you guys are ranked number 11, I believe, now in the country, correct?
Mm-hmm.
At 19-8 record. Like Ty said, you have a lot of guys that are really hitting the ball, well over 300 averages. I did notice that some of your starting pitchers, the ERAs are a little bit elevated as far as your starters go.
Yeah, we have Caleb Killian, who's like, before he actually got drafted by the Orioles, and I think it was the 10th round, but he decided, because I actually talked to the players for baseball, so when he was asked about like why he came back and didn't go to the league, he was just saying that like playing for Tech was the best time of his life, and he didn't want it to be over, so he came back to play for us. And then we have like our three primary starters are him. And then we have Bryce Bonin, who's also doing not too hot right now, who's our transfer from Arkansas. And then we have Erickson Lanning, who's been playing pretty good. He has an ERA in the twos, I think.
Yeah, it's 2.57. He's the best of your starters.
How many games are you guys now into the season? Because I saw that it was a Gabe Holt had like over 18 stolen bases already. I thought that was mind blowing.
Only like 25, 26, I think, something like that, something around there, maybe 30ish, around that range. But yeah, he leads our conference in stolen bases by like double digits.
And man, if you're like 30 games in already, and Dylan's still batting .394, like that's got to be draft worthy right there.
Yeah, Dylan Noisy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy good too. He's probably not a player that people thought were going to – because going into the season, it was all – the hype was around Josh Young, our third baseman. He's still projected to go – like he's – like D1 Baseball has him the number one third baseman in the country. But, yeah, Dylan Noisy's crazy good too. He good eye at the plate. But, yeah, that's something our coach actually talks about too is – he always mentions in the press conferences that the main thing he strives for and like the best thing he likes about this team is that they can separate the balls from strikes. So we don't really have too many. We strike out obviously, but we don't have as many strikeouts as an average team would.
Yeah, and Cameron Warren, he's another one batting .361. I believe he leads your team with 7 home runs.
Yeah, he does, and he's second in the Big 12 too with that. But yeah, he's a heavy hitter. It's actually funny. He's like you can tell that he's just getting more confident with his play too because if y'all have seen him, he's a big guy. So he's not that fast. He has to rely on his hitting, and like the past game, he like had 2 stolen bases, which is like extreme. Like it's rare to see him steal a base, and he stole 2.
You know what's so weird with college sports is in football, you're not allowed to talk to agents. You're not allowed to be affiliated with any pro team. But as far as baseball goes, you could already be signed to a pro contract.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Are any of these other guys being looked at by the pros?
I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, I would say Josh Young for sure. Dylan Noisy might. I don't know. He's a sophomore. Gabe, if I had to project the players that get drafted, I'd probably say our third baseman, Josh Young, Dylan Noisy, probably Gabe Holt most likely. And then on our pitching staff, Cameron Warren probably too, but I don't know. I don't really know too much about the MLB. I don't know if the team would want to pick him up. He's like a senior, and he's a big dude, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But,
Now you said there was a lot of focus on Josh. Is it Young?
Yeah.
How would you say he's even compared to or even doing this year? Because you have like 4 guys who are batting better than him, and he's not even in the top 5 for home runs at all yet.
Yeah, he's only, if I'm not mistaken, he's only had like 2 home runs or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know if the hype is getting to him or if our team is just that good. But yeah, he hasn't. I don't know. His play on the field is also pretty good. Like, you'll see him. There's been so many crazy plays where he'll like dive to make a stop and then like throw the batter out at first. Like, his fielding is pretty like he had one standout play I remember seeing is like someone hit like a super hard line drive like right above his head, and he like jumped up super high and like caught it for the final out of the inning or something like that.
What I think is cool is when you have a player like that who has like maybe a lot of MLB scouts looking at him, that gives the opportunity to your other teammates. like Cameron Warren, who's batting 361, Dylan's batting 394, and you have players who are outplaying him, and that's awesome if you're on that team, because then you get also looked at, because they might not have even been looking at your team if it wasn't for Josh Young.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, I mean, I'm in the press box, so I'm above, all, our stadium seats, kind of. And you can just see every game, every home game, you'll just see at least minimum 5 scouts there with radars, the speed guns or whatever.
That's cool. Do you ever get to, talk to any scouts or even, find out, what teams are even there?
No, I don't know how I would, but because by the time I'm I'm not super high up, but by the time the game's over, I write my stories while the game's happening. So right when the game's over, we can post it online, so it's timely and stuff. And then right after that, I head straight to Tadlock's suite. And then that's where we do the press conferences and stuff, post-game press conferences. So don't really interact with the fans or scouts or anything.
Do you get access to all the players and the coaches, or is it whoever they send out to be interviewed?
Yeah, too. We have an SID who's he's in charge of all of how it works is I don't know if I'm pretty sure all college sports are like this, but how it works is there's an SID and they're kind of in charge of the social media for the team, and then in charge of the publicity of the team too. So we'll when we're cool with him, if he knows you, some games he'll ask who do you want to talk to for your story, and then he'll help us get it. But Tadlock is very strict on. He has a policy where we don't talk to he will not let us talk to freshmen, and it kind of sucks because one of our starting pitchers is a freshman. One of the fastest dudes on our team, last game, I don't know if y'all are watching, but he hit an infield bunt and made it to, he's crazy fast.
Wow.
His name is Max Marsock. And then our starting shortstop is also a freshman, so it's kind of sucks, but we typically only talk to we usually don't even get to talk to the sophomores usually. They usually give us, Cameron Warren every game and then whoever's pitching.
That's cool, though. It kind of sounds like you got the dream job going right now. You get to sit there in a beautiful field and watch baseball and then get the type of story about it. That seems awesome.
Yeah, the nice thing about college baseball is looking at the schedule is it's almost like you get a series. It's not you don't play just one. You don't play them once and then you go to another school. You play these teams for 2 or 3 games over a weekend or whatever schedule is, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot because it gives you a chance. If you have a bad game, they're not going to in basketball. If you have a bad game and lose to a bad team, everyone's kind of talking about it. But most likely with a team like Tech, you won't lose to a bad team twice in a row. So it kind of, I feel like it's better. I like the system more because it's easier to define if a team really is good and if the team really can beat another team,
Now, Josh, do you travel with the team if they go to away games, or do you stay? You were going to say that, weren't you?
That's the question.
Or do you stay at just the home games?
No, I just stay at the home games. I wish I could travel, though.
Now, what if you guys make it to Omaha?
I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works. We didn't send – so, from what I've heard, since I've only been working here for, half a year, really, this semester, the start of the semester, basketball is the first sport to end and do good, and they were talking about it, and they were saying they wish they could have sent someone, but it was just the timeliness of it. By the time we found out, because people buy Final Four tickets early, beginning of the season and stuff. So it's by the time we were going to buy tickets, it was $500 for a ticket. So it just wasn't worth it. But I don't know if we go to Omaha or something. I know my grandparents go every year. So I was thinking maybe because I can get credentials wherever I go, through my paper. I just have to I don't know. It depends. I just have to pay for travel expenses and where I stay. So if my grandparents go to Omaha, I'm gonna see if I can just tag along with them and get my credentials, and that'll be cool.
I mean, this is the first time Texas Tech has ever been to the Final Four. What's the feel on the campus? I mean, what happens if you guys go to the championship? Are they going to like shut the school down, no classes that day?
I would imagine, because I've heard 1996, I believe, our women's basketball team won the national championship, and apparently like the city shut down for like 2 whole days. So like imagine if a men's basketball team wins a championship. Like I'm like, from what I think, I'm gonna think like we have Broadway, which is like our street with bars. Like what I'm imagining is like some Bourbon Street vibe, like everyone's partying in the street, like Philadelphia whenever y'all won the Super Bowl.
I mean, if you look at the remaining teams, there's no one that's really impressive. I mean, Tech has the best defense, but Michigan State's beatable. Virginia, they're easily beatable. They're lucky to even be there. I think Texas Tech has a really good shot. I mean, especially the way they're playing on defense.
And I'm rooting for them. Because what is this? Their first time ever, Josh? That they've been in the Final Four.
Well, let's be real. The only reason Ty's rooting for them is because he actually picked them in our pool, and he has
Yes,
Texas Tech left. Noah has Michigan State, and I have Virginia left.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope Tech. I can see it happening. If our team plays to the potential that they can, I like 100% believe that we'll win the national championship. Not just as a fan, but just knowing how we play. Like our defense is locked down. Like y'all probably seen it. Like people, like teams struggle at the three. Like if you, like we stop people at the 3-point line, and then when they drive in, like with Odiase and the Tariq Owens, he set our single game block. This is his first year at Tech, by the way. He transferred from St. John's, but he set our single game block record, and he set our single season block record in his first year. So like, yeah, we have protection down low and on the behind the arc. So
I think Kyler Edwards and David Moretta, they got to get hot from the 3-point line. Yeah, you guys got to get those shots falling and put pressure on Michigan State.
Yeah, Moretti. That's one thing I actually just wrote kind of like a little column on it, because for our paper, I mentioned it's all Final Four themed, and we had like the sports staff like wrote who they thought would be like the MVP of our team, you know. And I said Davide Moretti because he's just a different, like he's a good two-way player. He's good on defense. He has no blocks this season, so it sounds weird when I say it, but like he can guard people, like he can guard bigs in the paint. He doesn't block them. He doesn't block shots, but like he disrupts the shot, and he can guard the 3-point line, and he creates space for Culver. Then whenever Culver gets double teamed, they pass it to Moretti, and he's a sniper.
I don't know
if y'all see his like stats. He also doesn't miss free throws either.
I think if Culver stays hot, he'll be fine. You guys will be fine. 18.9 points per game. He's been good for you guys all tournament. I think that if he stays hot, you guys will be golden.
Yeah, he leads our team in points, rebounds, and assists. It's crazy.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. I know what you're going to say, but make your prediction for this game.
Me? For the Michigan State game?
Yeah.
I feel like it could go either way. I feel like, obviously, I'm going to say Tech is going to win. Probably by, like, I don't know, maybe 5 points, maybe. That's my prediction, something like that.
Hey, a win's a win. Take it any way you can get it.
This is tough, though, because Michigan State has a lot of scorers. So if Texas Tech can play good defense, I could see them winning. But I like he said, I think it's going to come down to the wire for this one.
Yeah, and I also think that our defense kind of smothers teams, and teams haven't really played a defense like Texas Tech, so it kind of frustrates them. And y'all saw it in the Michigan. I know y'all are Michigan fans, but even Gonzaga too. Like, I think just the presence of our defense kind of, because Michigan and Gonzaga both had like wide open threes they could have shot, but they just missed them. I just feel like our defense kind of brings that kind of pressure, you know?
Well, we talked about this on the last podcast about the rankings and stuff, how they rank the teams for this, and I didn't think Michigan was a number 2. I mean, they didn't make a jump shot the whole first half of that game. I mean, 9 minutes to go in the first half, the score was like 9-6, Texas Tech. I was like, oh my God, this is bad. But I think the team that impressed me the most out of this whole tournament was Auburn. If you look at the teams they beat, I mean, New Mexico State, I think they beat Kentucky. They beat North Carolina. They beat.
Yeah,
They're
busted a lot of brackets.
Yeah.
They shocked a lot of people, and it was awesome to see it happen.
They beat the biggest names in college basketball, and they were only a 5 seed, and that's what Ty and I are talking about. They should make it more interesting instead of ranking them. Take all the names and throw them into like a big bingo tumbler, and you tumble and then you just pull out names, and that's who you play. I think it would be more interesting because you might get a team, a no-name team that runs the bracket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you could possibly get like it's not always like a super dominant team playing like a no-name school. You could get some of the lower schools, like the lower schools that don't really get that much publicity playing each other too, rather than just getting dominated by Duke,
absolutely,
Kentucky, North Carolina.
All right, Josh. Well, we have to get your pick on this because we discussed this earlier before the podcast. But, in the NBA, everyone's talking about the MVP run, and we probably know who your pick is going to be already. But you have James Harden and you have Giannis, who are really the two main dominant candidates right now for this MVP award. So we just want to hear who you think is going to deserve this MVP.
All right. So anyone who's not from Houston just hates James Harden. So I understand if y'all are choosing Giannis, but James Harden has had a phenomenal season. Like he the only other person to score, I think it was like 32 games where he had 30 points in, was like Wilt Chamberlain, and that's crazy. And he's like one of the only players that have averaged like above. I don't know what his stats are. I think he's like above. Is he at 35 points per game, or
he's at 36.4?
Like that's insane. And it's like. The other thing is everyone will talk about how he shoots free throws and his step back is a travel and all that, but the way I see it is
it's a Euro step.
Yeah, and I mean it could be just because I'm a fan, but it's just if you can find a way to give yourself an advantage, like go for it. Like why would you not do a step back that you're gonna make? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like half the time, like he is doing that stuff, but majority of our season, either like one of our big three, like Chris Paul or Capella, were out. There was one point in the season where we had like none of our starters except for James Harden. So it's like he has to put the team on his back.
You know what? I really don't care who wins the MVP. I'm a Sixers fan, so the only thing I worry about is what they're doing. The MVP, it's going to come down to whoever they pick anyway. Usually it's not right anyway.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think Houston is a really good team. I mean, they're 51-28. They're on a 4-game win streak, but the Sixers proved it. If you take Harding out of the situation in a game, you could beat them because there's a dramatic fall off of points per game after you take his 36 out of it. So if you pressure him and force these other guys to shoot, there's a good chance you can beat them. But then there's a good chance you'll get burned too, because if you do double team Harding and the guy that they throw the ball to
Capella
is hot, then you're in trouble. Eric Gordon, any of them.
Yeah, that's like Eric Gordon, our sixth man. He's crazy too. Like he can we just have a lot of shooters really. Like Gerald Green, House has been doing pretty good too. We just picked him back up. We just have shooters, and then we got Kenneth Faried, which is insane. Like I love watching him throw it down. I never thought I could find someone else who can throw it down more beautifully than Capella, but Kenneth Faried dominating out there.
Yeah.
I will agree with you that not many people like James Harden, and I feel like I might agree with that. Sometimes he does travel when he does that crazy, pull it back and pop it. But I truly do think James Harden wins the MVP over Giannis because there is weapons on Houston, but when CP3 went out, James Harden saved Houston. Like, he kept them in the playoff push. He's averaging 36.4 points per game. Giannis only averaged 27. Okay, Giannis is a great player, lights out great player. He is leading the Bucks to the playoffs here. But James Harden gets it done. He is a man that pops that three. He can cross you over. He can go in and do it all. And I truly think that he's just an overall elite player.
You know what I think most people hate about James Harden? And it's not just him in general. It's the way the game has evolved. When those guys do that pump fake and they get the defender in the air and then they jump into him and they call that foul, I think that annoys everybody. And Harden does it a lot. Or he does the thing where he jerks his head back real fast, like somebody bumped him. And 9 out of 10 times, he's getting that call.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is. I can see it being annoying. Like, see, it doesn't really happen to us much. It's usually, we usually are the ones on the one getting the foul call. But I can see how it's annoying. But I've been seeing other players have been, like, even I saw something where Steph Curry and Kyrie, like, they're trying to do James Harden to step back, and I've seen players pump fake and then lean into the foul. Like, I feel like it's just kind of changing the game. It's kind of manipulating the game. But, I mean, in my opinion, it's just like, if you can do it and you're gonna get the foul and you're that confident at the free throw line, go for it.
Well, I tell you what,
just, like, in my opinion,
I hope somebody beats Golden State in that division. I mean,
oh, they will. I think someone will.
It's getting to the point where it's just, I don't want to see him anymore. But I tell you, if you look at the top 5 teams in that division, they're all hot right now. The Warriors won 2 in a row. The Nuggets won. The Rockets won 4 in a row. Portland's on a 2-game win streak. And the Utah Jazz, man, they won 6 in a row.
A lot of good teams in that division. It's going to be interesting.
There's only like 3 or 4 games left, so it's going to be very interesting when they match these up for the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. I think, I'm not like 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure like we've won every game we've played against Golden State. I think we lost 1 game actually. But like we've won majority of the times we've played Golden State this season. It's just who knows if they're playing to their potential. They have literally a starting lineup of all-stars. It's annoying.
Well, the way it looks right now, you guys will be getting the Clippers in the first round.
And what I wanted to say earlier was that, people can't be mad that James Harden shoots a lot. I mean, he averages 7 assists a game, more than Giannis. But when you can shoot that 3 and get 30 points a game and help your team win, why wouldn't he do that? Like, he's
also something like everyone kind of sleeps on. In the past, Harden has been bad at defense, but he's been crazy on defense too. Like, he's been at one point he's like one of the leading stealers. Like, he had the most steals in the league per game.
Well, you know what's impressive? If you watch him play, you don't realize he averages 7 assists a game, which is 8th in the league. But the thing that shocks me about him is he's ranked 89th for three-pointers. He's only shooting 36%, but when you watch him, it's like he never misses.
Yeah. It's mainly those one – it's like just starting games, he'll just like – I remember one game this season, he was like 0 for 11, and then he like snapped out of it. But it's just games like that probably tank his percentage.
The only reason you see so many go in is because that's the only highlights they show of the game. They don't show the bad highlights in the game.
Well, since we're down there in the state of Texas, what do you think about San Antonio and the Dallas Mavericks? I know the Mavericks are like they're doing the whole tank thing, which is good. But what about San Antonio?
I don't know. I don't really keep up with them that much, but I don't know. I heard DeMar DeRozan's balling out over there, so looking like a good pickup for them. Yeah. And then I saw they had like I forgot his name, but the white dude has like the highest 3-point percentage in the league.
All right, Max. Texas Tech had their pro day for football. What did you see? You were there reporting at the event. What did you see as far as kids showcasing their talent?
I thought there was a lot of talent there. Honestly, it was a lot of shockers. Obviously, I don't know if y'all watched Last Chance University, the show on Netflix, but one of the stars the previous season, Dakota Allen, he got kicked out of Tech for getting into just hanging around the wrong people, wrong time, and he got arrested. Mm-hmm. So he had to go. He got kicked off the team, went to JUCO, and then balled out there, and then he actually came back to Tech, and he like led our team. He's like our defensive captain, and he's just crazy good. But in pro day, he like had his numbers were just good overall, and you can tell he's definitely getting drafted in the first round. But we also had one of our wide receivers. He had a 38-inch vertical, which is insane.
Wow!
Like literally, the locker room just went crazy. I like no one was expecting it either. But, yeah, he had a 38-inch vertical. And then I'm trying to think of any other play. Oh, yeah, Anton Wesley. I forgot about him. He's probably going in the first round too. He's a wide receiver. He's crazy good too. I don't know what it is about Tech, but we just breed wide receivers.
I was gonna get into about the Texas Tech program, but I see they were 5-7 last year, and there's not much to talk about. But overall, in general, what's your feel about Texas as far as football? Because it seems like they used to dominate, as far as Texas A&M, and it's like the programs have fallen off. Do you see a change coming as far as those programs go?
I don't know. I definitely see it in UT. I definitely can see UT balling out. They did pretty good last year. Other teams, Baylor, can't see it. Tech, I doubt it. We just got a new head coach. We had Cliff Kingsbury as our coach, who's more of an offensive-minded guy, and he's just good with QBs. But we got this new guy, Matt Wells. I talked to him, and
he's the new coach for Arizona, right?
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury. But yeah, Coach Matt Wells, he came in and I was at the first press conference he did at Tech, and he mentioned that someone mentioned oh, how much of the old playbook are you using? He's like, don't even mention it. He's like, I threw the old playbooks out. It's like 100% new stuff, like everything. And then our QB Alan Bowman was just he wasn't I feel like he might be frustrated, but talking to the media, you got to keep your cool. And he's like, it's his sophomore season, so he was like, yeah, I had to learn a whole new playbook whenever I came here my freshman year, and once I finally mastered it, got to learn a whole new one. So good experience for him though.
It was finally cool to see the Texas Longhorns finally be decent this year. They went 7-2 in their conference and 10-4 overall. But I know you were talking about Texas is struggling. It totally is. But you haven't seen Texas been good in a while either.
No.
You finally saw them make that jump this year.
I think since the Mac Brown era, right?
Mhm. Yeah, they're good. UT's good. They're kind of like everyone in the Big 12 hates UT, so it's like UT and OU, everyone hates them. So.
Now, do you follow in the NFL? Do you follow the Texans?
Like a little bit. I'm more of a basketball guy though.
You're not a Cowboy. You are the Texans fan. I was hoping.
I'm a Texans fan. I'm actually more of a. I would say I'm a Texans fan, and I would say Patrick Mahomes fan. I wouldn't say a Chiefs fan.
I feel like you're kind of like on that bandwagon type of thing. Like I'm getting that vibe.
I was hoping you were going to say
he came to Texas Tech. He came out of Texas.
No,
Tech.
I know.
Bro, no. When you see him like I saw him my first 2 years of college, and once you see a guy like that, everyone knew he was going to make it to the pros. He would run out of the pocket, throw 80 yards for a touchdown. You couldn't stop him on offense.
Did you ever see him around the university or have any classes with him at all?
No, I didn't. But I tons of people have stories how they ran into him at the club or something.
All right, so I was going to go into the NFL. I was going to say about the Texans and everything, but let's talk about the Rangers, because you know what? Everyone kind of wrote them off, saying that is going to be a down year. And right now they're sitting in second place in the West at 4-2. And they thought because they're getting a new stadium that this was going to be it. They're going to tank this year, and next year will be the year they come out. What do you think as far as Texas, what they're doing? I mean, their new coach, he's doing a great job down there. He's got these guys hitting the ball, being more patient. What do you think?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't really keep up with the Rangers either.
Gosh, Mac, we're trying to get a good story here, man. You're killing us.
They destroyed my Astros, though.
Okay, well, we can talk about the Astros. They're off to a very bad start, just like the Yankees in Boston. What do you think about that?
It's sad. I saw, I don't know, so one of the Astros players tweeted, don't count us out yet, or we're only 7 games into the season. I'm like, man, y'all got to get it together, man.
It is early. It is. Yeah. They have a stacked team, but it's early.
Yeah, we talked about this the other day, Tyler and I, because the Yankees had the best spring training ever. They led down there in the Grapefruit League, and they have 11 injuries right now, and the injuries are piling up. They actually pulled their last man on the 40-man roster up from AAA today, because that's how far down in the depth chart we are.
Dang.
All right, I'm just pausing it real quick. All right, Max, we thank you for joining us on Everything Goes. It's been such a blast to have you on here. Maybe we can get you on, especially if Texas Tech makes it to the final round.
Yeah, for sure. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, definitely, man. You're going to be our Texas connection between you and 105.3 The Fan down there. We're gonna hit the lower states with this wonderful podcast that we have going.
Of course.
All right, Max, it's been real. Thank you for sharing your stories and your articles with us.
No problem. Thank y'all.
Thanks a lot, Max.
All right, so if you listen to our podcast a lot, you know we like to talk about the MLB, and we like to talk about a lot of other teams, but you also know that we like to talk about the Yankees. The Yankees finally won today, 8-4 against the Orioles. But if you are a Yankees fan, you're a little worried because, 10 guys now? Or are 11 guys on the injured list. So we just called up our last man on the 40-man roster, the shortstop Estrada, I think it is.
Yes, he's our last man on the 40-man roster.
And like typically I keep the faith in my family and say the Yankees are going to do good this year. But I know it's early. We've said that a lot, that it's early, but it's a little nerve-wracking right now, especially when Severino's not pitching, but Betances isn't pitching.
Well, it's concerning because they're not rushing these guys back. And, like Boston's in the same situation. They lost again today. You cannot fall games behind Tampa Bay. You can't let them pull away.
I was going to say, I'm not even worried about Boston. It's Tampa Bay that I'm worried about because Tampa Bay is pulling away right now.
Yeah, and like Severino, they're talking about maybe mid to end of May. CeCe Sabathia might be coming back next week, but the injury bug has really plagued this team, and we're not hitting. Today was the best day for them. They came out with 12 hits, but man, I don't know what they're going to do.
I think the worst thing for us right now is not a lot of guys are hitting. Like Aaron Judge went quiet. He's only batting .269. Torrey Sanchez, though, they're doing good. Sanchez is slowly getting his average up. It's still low, but he's hitting home runs to keep us in the game. It's DJ LeMahieu, though, who is killing it for us right now. He's batting .400 already.
Well, Gleyber Torres had a huge day today.
Huge day with 2 home runs.
He went 4 for 4 today.
Because we were watching that game, and we were like, we're in the same boat again. The pitching's getting a little hit around a little bit. It's nothing too serious that the hitters can't keep us in the game, but there's no hitting going on. But luckily, Torres hit 2 home runs. The second one was a 3-run home run.
Torres is leading our team right now with a .357 batting average. He went crazy today. The biggest thing I have is if we lose Andujar. If Andujar, if he is out for the season, man, then he plays DH, he plays third base, and that keeps LeMahieu at third base, where they wanted to move him all around. It's gonna mess things up for their plans.
It's not even like Andujar that worries me, because I think DJ LeMahieu is doing a great job. I know Tyler Wade's at second, but you have Didi Gregorius coming back. I would kill to have Severino right now. I'd kill to have Stanton back right now. At least those two.
But the plan for DJ was they wanted to move him around. They wanted to play him at second, at short, at third, and at first base. And it with him being stuck at third base, unless they make a trade for somebody or a deal for somebody, I don't know who's available in the free agent market anymore, he's going to be our everyday third baseman. There's no one else really there they can put there.
Yeah, Ellsbury's finally running around. He's doing light activities at extended spring training. Aaron Hicks is slowly beginning baseball activities again down in Tampa Bay. Tulowitzki's staying hopeful. I feel bad for the guy, but he's getting older, so these injuries get harder on him.
And what stinks, too, is our starting pitching has been pretty decent. Other than Happ, who struggled, and it could be because of the weather, who knows, but our starting pitching has been great. It's just that we haven't produced any runs to help them out. Tanaka's been lights out starting out this year. ERA 146.
He's our best pitcher so far.
Paxton again pitched. He started out rough today, but then he got dialed in. But man, if we could get everything back and get everyone healthy, this will be a good team. It's just you can't fall behind.
What we need to happen right now is that these guys that are coming up and filling in these spots, like Clinton Frazier, like DJ LeMahieu, we need them to get hot. I know that you guys aren't Stan. I know you guys aren't Andujar, but you need to make a name for yourself here and hold our team to stay in almost close to first place. What's nice is that Severino's finally, he's still doing long toss. He's not on the mound work yet, but Dylan Betances is facing hitter soon, and they're saying that he's going to return quickly after that. And that'd be nice for our bullpen because our bullpen's stacked on paper. But lately, it's been struggling. Watching it, it's frustrating. it's really frustrating because we're walking a lot of guys. I know it's cold. I know it's early, but
speaking of bullpens, how about David Robinson blowing it for the Phillies yesterday?
I saw that.
What did he walk? 3 or 4 batters?
I saw somebody on Facebook. He posted about David Robertson and how he's struggling. And someone commented and said, he was never good with the Yankees, never good with Mariano Rivera. He's trash in Philly. And I wanted to comment so bad and be like, dude, you're smoking crack because he was great with the Yankees.
He was great with the Yankees.
He was great with the Yankees. Mariano Rivera taught him how to throw that cutter, and he was lights out. He was so good with us, and I was so happy when we got him back from the White Sox because he did a great job for us. He did a great job for us. Him, Betances, Chapman, it was an elite bullpen. It's sad and funny at the same time to see him.
His ERA is 18 right now. And he was always unhittable with the cutter. I mean, I didn't watch the game. I don't know what happened yesterday. I just heard that he struggled and he walked like 3 or 4 batters. I guess he walked the winning run in for the Nationals.
And what's weird is that he's playing teams that he didn't play as a Yankee. So you think that not seeing him so much, like he'd be striking out players. But I don't know what to say about it. I hope he does better because he was a Yankee. But also he's playing for the Phillies, so I mean, if he wants to suck now in his career, it's a good spot to do it.
I mean, if you look at the standings right now, man, I think we were right on some things, but God awful on some others. I mean,
it's been crazy.
I never saw Minnesota leading the division.
No, I called that. I wish we could replay our podcast because I said this is the year that Minnesota's going to be good. And they only have 1 loss right now because they signed a lot of their young talent and they're playing great. And I called that. Oh,
the only one I got right so far, I have Seattle, and
Seattle's 7-1.
I think I picked the Brewers. No, I mean
7-1.
How about the Cubs? 1-4. They were projected for 90+ wins and going to the World Series by some sites. Now they're 1-4.
All I'm saying is that we called it that the NL East is going to be a tough because what's crazy that the Atlanta Braves are 2-3, but they're not playing bad. If you watch those games, they're hitting home runs. Swanson, Acuna, they're hitting home runs. Donaldson's playing good.
Yeah, and we were right about
it's just their pitching struggling.
The National League East. I mean, Philly's 4-1,
but
the Braves are 2-3, only 2 games out. The Mets still sitting there 5-2.
That's going to be a good division. That's going to be a really good division. Atlanta's only 2 games out of first place, but the Phillies, man, Harper plays Scherzer. His first time he gets the hit off him, he strikes out 2 at-bats in a row, and then he hits a double, and then he hits a home run. And there's so many Phillies fans there.
The thing that really has me shocked is Boston. I mean, they have 52 runs scored against them already, and they're sitting there at 2-6. And then
early,
you look down, and then
early.
you have Houston and you have the Rangers. Texas Rangers are 4-2, and Houston is 2-5. That should be flip flopped.
It's early, man.
That's the tough division because they're balling.
Seattle's
balling, and they got almost a 5-game lead right now over Houston.
7-1, dude.
It's tough to climb out of holes. I mean, when you play them in a series, you got to steal the series to get back into that division.
Did you see Greinke hit a 3-run home run the other day, and then Madison Bumgarner hit a home run?
Greinke had 2 home runs in that game.
Really?
He had 2 home runs in that game, and he pitched phenomenal.
It is awesome. I always liked Greinke.
Yeah. I love this time of the year. I love baseball. Baseball is my sport, and it's amazing what's going on right now. And it's early, and we have to be patient, but it's hard to be patient when you're a fan, and especially when you see what's going on. I remember we were saying that some players, some fans, they're going to be done watching their team by May 1st, and man, you never know if the Yankees or the Red Sox or Houston, all these teams fall 7-8 games out, man.
One reason I never worry yet is because, especially for the Yankees, I mean, you could say it's due because the Phillies are playing phenomenal right now, but like it's cold here in the East, so like people are gonna play bad. People are gonna be cold when it gets warm and that sun's out and it's summer. It's a different game.
I just can't believe the Yankees had 18 strikeouts yesterday in their game. 18 strikeouts. Man,
that's just the only thing you could do is wait and hope that they do better. But did you see? I saw that Adam Jones had a fan ejected yesterday because apparently as he was running for the ball, the fan was cursing him out, and he said that these fans are getting a little crazy nowadays. It's unbelievable the things they say to you, and I totally agree with him. Like, it's one thing to say like one cuss word to someone, but like if you're at a stadium fully cussing someone out who's running for a fly ball, why? Like, what is the point of that? Like, did you have too many beers?
I don't.
Like,
know.
you're not.
It's crazy.
It's
I mean, where was it just recently again? I think it was Dodger Stadium where a fan was beaten into, like, they beat the crap out of him after the game, and he ended up in the ICU on like life support or something like that. It's crazy.
They need to like almost like restrict how much alcohol you can get at a game.
Well, I tell you,
Cut back the tailgates,
especially football.
How about
As a Cowboys fan, I would
it?
never go see a Cowboys play the Eagles.
And we're not talking down to the Eagles here. It's just that rivalry is so tight.
When you have people starting the tailgate hours before a game and they're drunk off their butts,
What was that one game?
And that's not just Philly; it's every stadium.
What was that one? I think it was the Phillies game. I was telling you it was a night game, and they were opened up tailgating at like 11 a.m.
Yeah,
and like if you're drinking
nuts.
from 11 a.m. all up to an 8 p.m. game, you're gonna have trouble.
It shouldn't be allowed because you know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to end up getting killed, or someone's going to end up doing something so stupid that they're going to start banning alcohol in the parking lots at these games.
I mean, Eli Manning came out with that thing the other day where he said when he was in Philly, you have a little boy flick you off and say a curse word at you that you don't even know, you to look it up. I mean, some of the fans nowadays, man, it's crazy how like it's scary. I mean, I feel like you can't go to certain games to cheer on your own team, and that's stupid. Where's the fun in just I don't even know what to say.
Well, first of all, to go to any of these games anymore is so damn expensive. With the prices going up, and they're going to keep going up. And what are you going to do? And the last thing I want to do is I don't want to spend like freaking an arm and a leg worth of money for a ticket and then have someone throwing stuff at you or cursing at you. And
It's
how
stupid.
enjoyable is that when I can sit at home and watch it on my TV?
And what if you take
and
your
I
girlfriend?
could be the one doing the cursing at the Yankees.
What if you take your girlfriend or your wife and they start touching her, or they start and
Yeah,
you're
what do you do?
seeing it in NBA too. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw with Russell Westbrook, you saw it with people flicking people off and
Well,
getting
who was
banned.
the player, Antonio Davis, whatever his name is for New
Anthony
Orleans?
Davis.
Anthony Davis. He flicked off a guy yesterday. He just went out of New Orleans.
Yeah.
But some MLB scores: the Tigers beat the Royals 5-4. Nationals beat the Mets 4-0. Yankees won 8-4. Athletics beat Boston 7-3. Later on, we have Cubs and Braves, which is going to be a good game. Rangers, Angels, Mariners, White Sox is postponed, and the Padres take on the Cardinals.
I think before we get to the end of this podcast, we want to talk about the AAF. We're hoping to have a special guest on soon. If he's listening, we hope you come on. But right now, the AAF, nobody really knows if they fold or not. It's more football activities are suspended right now. Players have to buy their own plane tickets to get home. But you have the owner, Tom Dundon, who guaranteed them that he will give them $250 million to run this league.
He pulled his funding.
He gave them about $70 million, and he pulled it.
And you know what's sad?
He didn't even finish it.
They only need about $20 million to finish the season, and that includes the playoffs.
He's screwing them. And what is mind-blowing is I know this wasn't popular yet, but you had stadiums selling out. The San Antonio Commandos who play at the Alamo Dome, 30,000 people were going every week because football's big in Texas.
Yeah, but for people who love football, this was perfect for them.
It was perfect.
And the ratings were good. Everything was going great. But this guy wants to be the minor league affiliation for the NFL. And the Players Association for the NFL wants nothing to do with it. They do not want guys going down, risking an injury, and getting hurt at that level.
But what sucks is these guys, all their contracts were terminated, so they have no money. This was your last chance to get back into the NFL. And now you had to buy your own plane ticket. Some people were living paycheck to paycheck. So how are you getting home?
You know, it's funny. They're already saying that the XFL coming out in February, that they're going to fail. And Vince McMahon said,
He's too rich.
Don't think so. McMahon already has $500 million ready to spend over the first 3 years. He sold a lot of his shares in the company business, and he has like, I don't know, 200-some million he just sold the other day worth of stocks. So he's ready, and he wants to bring the excitement back to football, which, God, man, I can only imagine what that means because when they came out the last time, it was crazy.
Johnny Manziel, who played in the AAF for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and they had a concussion right before they folded, he tweeted out, he said, if you're an AAF player and the league does dissolve, the last check you got will be the last one that you get. No lawsuit or anything else will get you your bread. Save your money and keep your head up. It's the only choice at this point unless something drastic happens. And that sucks because some people, maybe they moved down to the stadiums they're playing at now, and they used all that money hoping that this league would be successful. And this guy just pulls all his money out of this league and just screws over all these people. All these people who got families. Now, Trent Richardson, who was having a great year, maybe he doesn't get a shot at the NFL now. Gilbert, the quarterback for the Apollos, already has over 2,000 passing yards, and the season wasn't even over yet. He could have gotten the NFL. Who knows what's going to happen now?
Yeah, and there's a lot of these guys that probably would have got picked up in the NFL. We're trying to have Winston Craig on, who's the defensive tackle for
the Commanders.
The Commanders. I hope we can get him on because this kid, he played for Richmond. He's a great interior lineman, and we would love to just talk not about the politics of football, talk about his career and
how the league's
and how it is playing in the NFL and what it's like to be in the middle of all that going on and chasing the quarterback. But it's going to be interesting. Hopefully we can get him on, and we'll go from there. We'll just keep reaching out to players and people, and eventually we're going to crack it.
What I thought was cool about this league is when you play the Madden games and you go to like create a franchise and you have all these free agents that you always try and like create a no-name team with. That's literally what you were watching. All the people that were free agents in the Madden game, they were playing this league, and you got to see some of these players actually have talent. And it's cool to get a second look at them. It's their second opportunity to get into the NFL.
Well, we've seen it in the XFL when they had it years ago that some of those players got drafted, or not drafted, they got picked up as a free agent, and they made it to the NFL. I just think they have to come to some sort of agreement, and I don't think the way that the AF is going about it is the right way. You have to, just sit back because you're going to benefit from it because this is probably the most successful league out there other than the NFL, as far as people watching it, filling the stands. I mean, 30,000 people at a game, and it's not the NFL, is pretty insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, last NBA news for tonight, the Sixers are playing Milwaukee, and, they've been slipping lately. And I think the Sixers are finally showing their weakness, which I think it's their bench scoring. So we'll see what happens. They need to turn around. There's only a couple games left before the playoffs kick off, but the way they're playing, man, I could see them being a one and done.
One last thing I want to discuss with you before we end this podcast is the one thing that's trending huge right now on Twitter is they're coming out with this article on the Packers head coach McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, how it was the huge egos that destroyed the Packers. You had Rodgers, the self-entitled QB, and McCarthy, the attention-seeking head coach, and how it kind of screwed them both over and destroyed what was good there. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on that. I don't know if you have any thoughts, if you saw that at all.
No, I didn't even see it.
Okay. Well, we can end it then.
But what do you think about it?
I could see it definitely being true. I could see Aaron Rodgers having a huge ego, and I could see McCarthy wanting attention, and that's obviously not going to go well together.
Sometimes I just wonder if they make a bigger deal out of a story because, you see a coach and a quarterback, having conflict and stuff like that. I mean,
they always have problems.
You never heard. If this was a problem from the start, why are we just hearing about it now?
It's him giving the story though. Like it's the ex-coach.
But they were so successful together. It's not like they had bad years together.
I mean, they only won one Super Bowl.
I understand that, but they were still a good team.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's face it. There's a lot of good teams out there, and a good coach and a good quarterback combination that don't even win Super Bowls. But why now? What is it benefiting now? I mean, he's gone. The coach is gone. And what is it proving?
Maybe he just wants to tell people what a jerk Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I don't know what he's going through. I don't personally know Aaron Rodgers, so I don't know if this is even true. I was just trying to come up with a story here before we kick this off.
I mean, David Irving came out today in an interview that was yesterday, came out and said that Jason Garrett's basically racist, saying he don't know how to act around black people. And then he goes, he's not racist, but when you throw that out there and you say you don't know how to act towards black people, you're kind of saying he's racist.
Yeah, basically.
You can't defend yourself when it comes to something like that. You can't get into a pissing battle over the airwaves over this guy said this guy said that. You're never going to be able to prove yourself right or wrong, It's just a waste. All those headlines. I gotta say one thing though. I want to send a big shout out to 105.3, the fan out of Dallas, Texas. We reached out to them and tell them about our podcast and everything. And I'm a Tolo. I turn them on all day long. I listen to them. I turn on and leave it on.
What did you say you are?
Oh, Tolo.
Tolo?
Turn it on, leave it on.
Are you saying toenail or Tolo?
Tolo.
Tolo.
You turn it on, you leave it on. You listen to them all day long. It's amazing the insight they have and what they talk about. I mean, they talk about the Cowboys. They talk about the Mavericks, the Rangers. They have Jerry Jones and all them on. But
I was just messing. They really are a good show.
They actually invited us to come down and actually do one of our podcasts in their production studio, which was pretty cool because we're planning on going down to Texas in May.
Even if we just get to see the place,
it's
a humbling.
It's a big
offer.
shout out to those guys because of those. A lot of those guys are either they're retired professional players, some of them, and for them just to reach out and say things back to you, it makes you feel good because there's a lot of celebrities out there or pro people that they don't care. They won't reach out or anything. But I got to send a big shout out to them. That was awesome to hear from 105.3 to fan.
Even if we could just see what they do and see how they work their equipment and everything, it's a humbling thing, and that's awesome that they were able to reach out to us.
Yeah, Sean and RJ in the morning, and then it goes into the G-Bag Nation, and then Ben and Skin in the afternoon. I love it. I love listening to it. It's awesome.
All right, well, we had Max on today, and that was an awesome experience hearing from the Texas Tech, what's going on with the baseball and the basketball.
And if they win, we're going to be going back down there.
Maybe we'll even do the podcast down from Texas when we're down there. But that's it for today's podcast, guys. We hope you really enjoy these podcasts. We hit our 10th podcast last time. It's just only going to keep getting better and better.
As long as there's sports, there'll be a podcast.
I feel like it was just yesterday we were doing the first one in the dark when the power went out.
Yeah, just keep hitting that like button. Spread the word, man. Get this out there. And if you don't like it, it's all right. But let's get the subscriptions up and get more people to subscribe to it and trying to hit that goal of 100. See what happens.
If you listen to the podcast, guys, all it takes is one click to subscribe, and it gives us a little joy in our heart. But this will be up on YouTube at Everything Goes to the Z, and we also have our Facebook page, Everything Goes to the Z, if you want to give that a like. But we'll see you guys next time, and we hope you guys have a good one.